T-minus 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Launch Sequence Podcast. We've got a special episode today. We're going to be talking about Star Citizen from a, a rough perspective, the newcomer's perspective. An actually pretty fun perspective, but it can be a bit rough. I'm joined by Acuze here, who's made a video that's, I think, gotten a lot of people's attention. Honestly, it's like crack for Star Citizen folks to get a newcomer's experience. And I thought a good conversation about it would be a nice time. So thank you so much for joining me today. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me as well.
Yeah. It's not every week you get to talk to people who just full on throw themselves into Star Citizen and talk about that experience, because a lot of times people will either get too sucked in and too into it, or they'll bounce off and never talk about it again. So it was nice to see your retelling of the story. And I think it was kind of unique because you acknowledged some things that, let's see, you talked about, like, the fact that you can definitely see the problems there. And I think everybody needs to understand that, throwing themselves into it. But also, obviously, there's like that wow moment. So we're going to get to that because I want to talk about when you actually got hooked by Star Citizen. But first, I want to talk about where you came from, because I take it you didn't just start playing video games this year or
No,
making
correct.
content. So, like, what were you doing before Star Citizen?
All right. So before Star Citizen, I for a long time, just gaming wise, I've always been like, I'll hop between games and games. As far as like I've always like whatever single player was kind of hot, I'd hop into. And as far as multiplayer games, like, it was kind of either what my friends were playing or what I thought was interesting at the time. It was never really anything I was dedicated to. For a long time, I've been very invested in like DayZ, but it was never something I played consistently until like the last year or so. So DayZ particularly is my most played game. But as far as like other games, there's never been one place that I've ever really been.
Okay, how about this? Where did you, when it comes to like gaming online, where did you start?
As gaming online,
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think the biggest, most memorable one would be GTA. I
Okay.
think GTA 5 was the most personal, memorable one I have. And then going like way beyond that, kind of where it stemmed from was back when I was like really, really young, and I walked into my cousin's room, and on the PlayStation 2, he had San Andreas, and I definitely wasn't
Uh-huh.
supposed to be playing San Andreas at the time, um, but it definitely left an impression on me.
Okay. Yeah. So Grand Theft Auto 5 online. That was like
Yeah.
your
Grand Theft Auto Online.
oh
My
boy.
brother really had me into Black Ops and Black Ops 2, which, if you're familiar with the lobbies back in the day, were
Yeah.
also not for a kid my age
Yeah.
at the time.
Real familiar.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's where it all stemmed from.
Okay. Did you ever get into any like FPS shooters or space flight games?
Not until like first person shooters would just be like CODs. But as far as like flight sims and stuff like that, like,
Mhm.
no. My space experience with the games would be Starfield, No Man's Sky, and probably this are probably like the most common and the most ones I could think of.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what did you think of Starfield? Not to get too derailed, but I just for context, I don't want people to think I'm like gonna bag on Starfield or something. I thought that Starfield would be the kind of game that people might play and then want to look for something else that was like it. Did you ever have that feeling with it, or did it just kind of not do
No,
anything?
I had an unpopular, I would say unpopular opinion based on what goes around, but my friend had told me about it leading up to it. He was really excited for it, but when I saw it, I kind of maintained my expectations. He thought it was going to be like really grand and exciting and stuff like that. I didn't think that's what it was going to be, and so I think when I played it, I had a good time with what it was. He did not. so, yeah, I thought it was really good. It didn't make me want to play space games any more or less,
Okay.
But I think I had a really good time with it, and it seems that's not the popular opinion.
Hey man, you enjoy what you want to enjoy, okay? We're
Exactly.
talking about Star Citizen here, so you
Right.
can popular opinions, huh? Um, okay. We'll get back to that. I kind of want to talk about first the Star Citizen bear hug that you've gotten since you released your first impressions. What has the community been doing so far to like help you out? How has it been hitting you?
Right. So in the comments alone on that video, which were insane, a lot of people wanted to just give advice, and I was surprised with how many people like cared to write out a lot of advice. Like it wasn't just so small and simple. Like people really want to assist you,
Yeah.
which I thought was like really cool to see, especially from a gaming community online. Like with the internet the way it is today, it was exciting to see, to say the least. There was people who joined through my Discord and just wanted to like show me around the verse and like show me cool ships or just show me things, which I think is like really cool. Some people have taken me on some adventures so far that I don't think I'd have gotten the opportunity to do anytime soon because of how new I am. And so it just seems like everyone wants to help, and that's kind of a little bit of how they've been doing so.
Yeah. We were talking before the show, and I mentioned that Star Citizen is a little bit of a bubble. It really
Yeah.
wants to grow. Like people
Yeah.
really want folks to learn more about this game, and it's all I feel kind of held back by the fact that the game will slap people around when they get in, you know? It can be fun,
Yeah.
but you have to push through some of the difficulty.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How's that process been for you?
So taking this back to for anyone that doesn't know on my channel, I play a lot of DayZ. I do play a lot of it, and DayZ has back in the beginning had its own lot of problems in development, coming to what it is today, and it's also got a huge learning curve. And there's a lot of things you got to remember and learn on your own, and nobody holds your hand. And so I kind of relate that to this, and I think that's why I enjoyed this so much is because I like that learning curve and I like that nothing holds your hand and nobody tells me what to do and how to do it. It's not like I'm sure Squadron 42, for example, when that comes out, I've been looking into that. It's gonna guide you. You know, it's more
Yeah.
story based. It's gonna really guide you and tell you where to go. I think that the best part about this is you work towards the progress that you want to get to and where you want to get to, and in the end, it's gonna make you appreciate it way more.
Absolutely. It's nice to pick the path, especially when there's a lot of different paths. One of the things that's always interested me so much about the game is that you can do mining or combat, and both of them are so different, but there's like a lot to it. You know, mining's not just pressing a button. And it's nice to be able to pick the way you want to go about it. What have you been gravitating towards?
At the moment, I've been trying a whole lot of everything. I haven't gotten into mining yet, but I've seen some videos on it, and I'm really excited to try that. I think that's really cool. I think the whole I don't know if you made it to the part of the video, whoever did, where like at the end I end up getting some money
Hmm.
from people
Yeah,
in the chat,
we're great at that too.
and yeah, and so I think that really made me put me in a position where like I stopped looking to do mining or something like that because I was like, do I need the money? What do I do? And I was kind of in a standstill for a moment of like, where do I go from here? I kind of achieved to me, the goal was like, you know, zero to hero type of thing. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And I found the interest a lot there. And so like I was kind of in a standstill of like, where do I go from here? And that actually encouraged me to go on YouTube and look at more things you can do, which then encouraged me to start looking into more things. And then I ended up getting really focused on an armor set and how to get it and stuff like that. So I guess to I haven't experienced a lot of the stuff that is there on the contracts and stuff. So I haven't gravitated specifically towards anything yet, but I
Hmm.
think there's a lot of things to still try. So
Yeah. Yeah, and it's growing, which is good. It's funny that you bring up the idea of like you got gifted a lot of money and you lost some drive to go because that's been, oh boy, that's been a topic over the last 5 months or so. Um, Star Citizen's been dealing with a lot of inflation because of some exploits. So there's a lot of money going around and people are throwing. I got gifted like 160 billion credits, and I
oh
don't know
my.
what to do with it. Um, so that is really nice, but the idea that like people are looking to try and make money and move up, and that can take away some of the drive to progress is interesting. The other side of that is like Star Citizen's never really been a game that's had a lot to earn besides ships. So you just mentioned there was a new armor that you saw that you wanted to go do. They've only just started to bring that in, so you come in at a really good time for that sort of drive to go out and find things.
Right. I hear that they're coming out with the crafting and stuff, so that's definitely on point. I think with the money thing too is like me, for example, I think it's different when you get 100 billion. Like I'm sure they have a cap on how much you can send out or something like that. Me was only like 100 mil.
Okay.
So I could have, so I take responsibility on this one, full responsibility. I could have sent it away, but I was just so intrigued by
Oh,
everything and I
dude,
wanted to
no.
try it
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
bad.
Live it up,
So I,
man.
I take responsibility for
Hell
that one.
yeah, dude. You went to Space Las Vegas, bro. Get get
Yeah.
all of the
Yeah.
ships. I mean, there are a lot of ships in the game that I would say aren't worth grinding for money to earn. And you probably got to experience now and you don't have to spend the money on that. You get to do something a lot cooler later. So
That's
I'm all for
fair.
that.
Yeah.
But the thing about the community is sending money, sending advice, um, guiding you through the game. Did you get to try the guide system on the website?
No, I saw a comment that actually mentioned it.
Yeah.
Said like instead of the tutorial, you should try the guide system, and I had
Oh,
no idea what that was. So I just found out what that it was. But now I have some people who are like reaching out to me who want to
yeah.
help, and so and it's cool because some of the people that have come and talked to me are people who have been here since like the very beginning, which is really intriguing to me. It's really cool, and I think it says a lot about the game too.
What do you think of that? There's actually, I'll ask, how much have you heard about that? Because I know you've known about Star Citizen before. What do you think about all the controversy about the time it's taken?
I didn't know very well about it before, so to be quite honest, like coming into the game, I'd heard of the game like a little bit from a friend who's mentioned it because he likes space games. He does. He likes them a lot. He was interested in Starfield. He told me about Starfield. Same friend,
Mhm.
and
The one who was
he's like, "You ever?"
disappointed in it.
Yeah, yes. And so he's like, "Have you ever heard of Star Citizen?" I was like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, like to him, he's like, oh, it's kind of like No Man's Sky. Like there's no loading screens, all this stuff." And he's brought it up a couple times within the past few years, but it's never something I've looked into. So I've probably seen like a clip or something of it here and there. From what he said, and from like, it was never a negative annotation. It was just like the game's not really where it needs to be yet. It's not like it's underdeveloped, is pretty much what I knew about it. And it wasn't ready. So I didn't know people were calling this a scam. I didn't know people were like talking really down on it or whatever. And so hearing it now, I think I can't speak on the people who come in from way in the beginning and to them plans change, right? Because I've seen some comments on that recently.
Yeah.
It's like the changes of or the plans have changed, the scope of it has changed, whatever. So I can't speak on that because I'm not in a place to talk about that. But as a new person coming into it, I think that they're completely transparent. It took me about 10 or 15 minutes before I pledged in to go on Reddit and look into it. Nobody's hiding the fact of like what it is, right? Like this, like I knew in 10 minutes there's going to be problems here. It's not ready. It
Mhm.
took me one video to see that there's issues.
Hey, good job.
And also just using my brain here is like, well, it's been in development for 13 or so years or whatever publicly, and there's been this much money. Like, just just know that there is not going to be done tomorrow, right? Like,
Yeah.
so know that for me, it was, I think, a lot of the negativity that comes into it. And again, I can't speak for like the people who have invested a lot of time into it.
Mhm.
Is I think it comes from um, people who just have a different perspective. I don't think everybody understands the idea of wanting to be a part of something that's still in development. I don't think a lot of people understand that. For me, I think it's really cool to be in something like this because hopefully one day it gets to a point where you can look back and really appreciate the time you had with it. I don't think a lot of people see it that way, and that's completely within reason. But there's definitely some um, claims out there that I think are completely unreasonable, to say the least. But then again, there's some that are reasonable. I think it has its ups and downs,
Yeah.
and it's hard to really pick, like to say who's right and wrong. But you could definitely see that some people are kind of just not happy that you're happy.
That's a
That's the best
that's
way to
a
put
funny
it, I
way to put
think.
it. Not
Like,
not happy you're happy. There's definitely that there's that meme of like stop having fun. Yeah. I think
yeah,
there's something to be said like you said about people who feel like people are having fun at their expense because the game they wanted didn't end up happening. But I do appreciate that approach of just try it, and if it's not for you, you just step away, and if it is for you, you try it out. I think it's definitely easier to jump into now, man. I wish this was the kind of game where you could press a button and it takes you back to the previous versions. You know, when they do that for like remasters and stuff, sometimes I want to play this game with the jank just to remind myself it's not as bad as it feels right now.
right.
Because I'm sure there are things that you see that if you saw it in a finished game, you'd be like, "What is this?" This like,
Absolutely, and I
yeah,
understand that from people's perspective, but here, like the truth is, like they tell you right from the jump, like this is
yeah,
alpha, this is in development, and as a community-backed game, like for all you know, and this is worst case scenario, I'm not saying this is what's gonna happen. For all you know, tomorrow, they could get no more funding and go bankrupt, and your game's gone, right? Like that's just the reality, and I don't like, oh, I don't know how possible that is. They have a lot of money. But I'm just saying, like, it's community backed. It revolves around the community um, to keep going. And so I think just anyone coming in, just come in with an open mindset that this is where it's at now, and not what you believe it could be. Although it's nice to be hopeful for the future, of course.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's just my point of view. I don't want to speak for anybody
No,
else. Like
no, no. I
you do
feel you.
you, and you know. But
Of
I'm
course.
interested to know, like, what you kind of think about that actually. Just the input from the community, because I know mine as a new player. What do you, from an experienced player or a more experienced player, what do you think about the criticism it gets?
I think, uh, I think a lot of the criticism this game deserves gets missed for the wrong things, which is probably not an uncommon problem with a lot of really big projects. Like Star Citizen has its own problems when it comes to things like keeping the ships updated. Uh, the fact that they sold ships 10, 12 years ago that funded the development for features that are coming in now, those ships don't fix those features. So they now have to like redesign something that somebody spent money on to fit something that it was supposed to fund. And it's weird and complicated, but you can't get to that conversation with most people outside of the community because it stops right at that first check mark. Do you
Right.
believe this is an actual product?
Right, right. So it does go on your ship thing. See, that's a thing that I was I guess ignorant towards, because I haven't experienced this part yet, right? So that's something
Yeah.
that, like, I don't realize. So there's something like my opinion only matters so much in
Yeah, but
this.
it's that's why you're on the show, though. It's good to get everyone's opinion. Oh, God, I
Right,
mean,
right.
everybody on this show, we've heard plenty of opinions from people who've been here for 10 years and are a little bitter about how it's been going. And
Right,
you'll find your spots. We all have our little
right.
our little things.
Right. I think that there's probably a lot of things that maybe down the line might get on me, but at the end of the day, I think I've got my money's worth here. I mean, I haven't bought anything but the minimal package, so
Good
I can't
call.
complain for $45. And on top of that, they offer a 30-day refund. So so yeah, I mean, I think that you just have to be able to take responsibility for where you put your money, right? And I put it into something that I just happen to get a lot of joy out of.
I do have to ask, what was the actual moment when you were watching Star Citizen? This is actually a question from one of our supporters. Obviously, there was a point where you found out about it and you were looking into it, and then there was a point where you were like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll try this." Do you remember what it was that convinced you?
To try it.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, this is I started, this goes back to No Man's Sky. Not, I don't think these are, by the way, very similar games, but I think they have their similarities.
yeah.
I don't think they're very comparable. So I've played No Man's Sky a few times in my life since it came out, but I've never really played it. And then recently, right a week before, a week or so before hopping into Star Citizen, I started No Man's Sky. up again. And I was watching a lot of YouTube content because it's such a vast game. There's so much to do and learn that like just makes sense. You go on YouTube, you search how to do things. And one night, like as I stated in the video, one night I was laying in bed and I wasn't able to go to bed,
Mhm.
and it's like 3 in the morning.
I
And I
get that.
just said, you know what? I shouldn't, but it's not going to help me. But I'm going to go on my phone. I'm going to go watch shorts. So I pull up YouTube and I open shorts, and a No Man's Sky video of someone landing on a planet compared to Star Citizen landing on a planet comes down. And I watch it. I was like, this actually looks pretty cool visually. And so I got up, I went to my computer, I turned it
The
on.
3 a.m. Star Citizen strike.
I turned it on. I went to the website. I searched how to download Star Citizen because it wasn't on Steam, and it was RSI. And I pulled it up. I went onto Reddit for like 10 minutes, read like a little bit there, and like see what I'm actually getting myself into. And I pledged in, and the rest is here we are.
Nice, dude. That's actually not bad. I've heard worse. 3 a.m.'s not bad, dude. It was so it's funny because I said earlier that I wanted Starfield to be this game that people would play and then see and be like, I want more of that and go into no Star Citizen, but it was No Man's Sky that did it.
Yeah, yeah. Just happened to be No Man's Sky.
I
uh,
literally made a video about that because I was it's so funny, dude. Thank you, No Man's Sky, though. Like that game's incredible. And the team Hello Games, holy crap.
yeah,
I,
yeah. No, they are. Continue to impress me as little as I play it. I keep seeing things about it, and it impresses me every time.
I was gonna ask if you had gone back to play it since then.
Nope,
Huh? Huh?
not yet. It's still downloaded, but I just can't seem to get away from from Star Citizen.
Yeah. Well, I want to hear a little bit more about your experiences in Star Citizen. First of all, flying a ship for the first time. That was a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, that was interesting. The tutorial doesn't tell you how to actually operate the whole system there. So once I figured out kind of how to just get in the air, flying was at first a little sensitive. You get used to that pretty quick, I think.
Mhm.
There are a whole like holding F and pressing buttons took a minute to figure out how to kind of play with that. Um, the waypoints, if you just watch the video, anyone that's here, you can tell it took me a long time to realize that quantum travel was a thing. I flew the whole way to the space station, and for most of that, I had my landing gear down. Um,
That took
which is like,
so long.
and I think just to kind of explain how optimistic I was, just like I if I could show you the raw footage, I was flying there like debating out loud, is is there a way to fast travel? Like, am I just gonna have to? And then to show you how optimistic I was like, oh, but I guess this makes sense. Like, it's a space game, it's realistic. Like, yeah, this is actually kind of cool. And like, the more I play, the more I realize this would not be fun at all. So I'm glad quantum
Yeah.
travel is a thing.
You're like getting
Um,
real worried that this is actually how the game's designed.
well, I was like, at first I was like, no way, and then I was like, oh, maybe this wouldn't be so bad. But I also didn't know how spaced out everything was and
Yeah.
whatnot. So, um, yeah, is I'm glad that quantum travel is the thing. Thank you, RSI, very much.
See, that's
and
another opinion difference. Veterans hate quantum travel right now. Just because the
really.
system itself is not working that well. Did you found that out?
Well, not so much that I mean, there's sometimes where it just like it doesn't bring up my marker to quantum travel.
Yeah.
But one thing that I had a real hard time figuring out in the beginning until I just did it more was with quantum travel as someone new who doesn't know how it works properly, is like I was trying to quantum travel to a marker. And by the way, I didn't know you could like route it on your map. So I was just looking for it. In the sky. And I didn't realize I'd quantum traveled to a marker that makes me get around the obstruction. But I didn't realize that was a thing because the planet's an obstruction to the
Right.
quantum travel, and I didn't realize this, so I quantum traveled, and I was like, "This is not where I wanted to go," and then I quantum traveled again, I was like, "This is still not where I wanted to go," and I'm thinking in my head, like, "What's going on here, man?" And, yeah, eventually
Oh man.
I got there, and I started to quickly realize after that, like, "Oh, it's getting me from, like, point A to B to there."
Yeah.
Um, so,
Just a
yeah,
big
that was
old
an
planet in the way that you gotta go
just
around.
a big
It's
planet
not
in the
super intuitive, dude. I don't blame you for that. And they've been talking about a replacement system for it. I want to say since 2023. Like we've seen it working in 2023. So a lot of Star Citizen players at this point are like, please, 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 trying to navigate in this game. We need the new system. But
right.
obviously, if your first experience is thinking you have to fly manually everywhere, then it's golden star.
Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting. I didn't even know how to call for a hangar. I didn't realize that was a thing at
Mhm.
first. So I just landed on a random platform for a minute and ran around that platform until I realized that I wasn't in the right spot. um, and then I just went on Google and searched how to find out where to go when I'm at a space station. And it just came up with Alt N.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, that'll help. That's a good panic button when you're near
Yeah.
a place. Yeah,
I
it's
was like,
you
that's
didn't
awesome.
crash in the hangar though, right? That's
Not the first time around, but then
oh
the tutorial told me that I had to quantum travel, and I was like, "Why? It's not updating now that I've landed," and I didn't know quantum travel was a thing. So I Googled how to quantum travel, and then I left the hangar so that I could quantum travel back. And on my way back, that's when I crashed the hangar. I saw this one comment, it was hilarious. The person's like, "You didn't crash the first time, so you had to get out and try again." I thought that was great.
It's a rite of passage. You
Yeah.
do have to crash. You also did you die from not putting your helmet on?
I did, but that was intentional. That was, I
Right,
fell
yeah.
through the map. I didn't know backspace was a thing. Had no idea, and I was like, "Well, I must be in space to be floating like this," so I just took my helmet off.
Yeah. All right, guys. I couldn't get him to admit it. I guess it's still just me. I got a question for you, kind of out of left field. From your experience so far in this game, does it feel like Squadron 42 slash Star Citizen with particularly with the way that it's flying spaceships, because I feel like that's the most challenging thing to get your head around. Does it feel like your average player, maybe the kind of people who you might find in Daisy, which I think a certain Star Citizen backer has an allergy to, but do you think that this game has a place for people like that?
Absolutely, 100%. It's funny, my friend who plays Daisy, a really big Daisy player, he, after I uploaded this video or when I was editing this video, I told him, "Hey, man, like," and we played Daisy a lot together. I met him in Daisy about a year ago, and sometimes we play, sometimes we don't, but we hadn't really talked too often recently. And I said to him, "Hey, man, like, I know you really like DayZ. You should try out this game. I find a lot of similarities in it." So it happens that he might have actually purchased it a long time ago, but doesn't really remember too much about playing it. And so he got into it on the free fly, and he's still playing with me today.
Free flies. Free flies are such a bittersweet occasion because everybody can obviously play for free, but then the servers get swamped and everything goes crazy for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think this holds a good place for DayZ players. I think it would be a lot of people who like PvP. If that's not what you're into, beware of that. But also, I think there's a lot of an adventure side to Daisy and people who like to talk. I think one thing that I don't know if it's ever worked, VoIP doesn't seem to work too well right now. As a Daisy player, I find that VoIP would change a lot of things in a really good way. Just having proximity chat is really something I love to be a part of in Daisy, and I think would definitely encourage more Daisy players and such to like a game like this.
Join our choir. We sing to CIG every week. No, they've been acknowledging it quite a bit recently. I'll give them that. It does seem like they're getting ready to do something with the social tools. A lot of a lot of the things in Star Citizen will make a lot of sense when you think about how the first version of kind of the version we're playing right now, the first like the first star system where you could fly around and visit places, it only had space for I think 25 people. Maybe 50. That might have been the second version of it. But almost all the systems we're using now were made for that. So the
Okay.
VoIP system obviously it struggles to handle 700 people in comparison. Same with like the star map. The inventory didn't even exist back then. Just a lot of those kinds of things. So whenever you see a system that feels like it is just not quite up to par, that's usually the reason. And that's why a lot of Star Citizen players you'll find have problems with how long we've been waiting for the things because it's just been year after year of like, oh, a new system's going to replace this. And they're like, okay, cool. When?
Right.
Soon.
Right. I think granted, I'm so new here that like I can't speak for anyone
Yeah.
ahead of time, but I think just from an outside perspective, I seem to try to be very reasonable with this stuff because looking into the game, and I've looked into it a lot over the past month because it has got me, it's got me, and I've really looked into a lot of it, and just looking into, when you as a developer, a small, I don't know how small they were at the time, but when you're small and you come up with a project, you're not going so big and so large. And I think if you see this influx of money coming in for your game, it's like now you want to do bigger and better things. And then your foundation wasn't built for that though, right? So you'd already started your foundation, but now you have to go back and rework it, right?
Yeah.
And that takes a long time. And then you keep going and then it just keeps happening over and over again. And then I think on top of that, they're just the ambitiousness of the game and their I've looked at they're working on they're working on it with their own engine. And that alone, for anyone who doesn't know, like an engine, especially to a scale where you're creating your own new things that game developers haven't done before, is like alone such a big expensive procedure and process. I have a friend that he's a game developer and just like knowing from what I know from him is like that's not an easy task and it's not a cheap one either, especially when you like this isn't Rockstar Games. This is like people who came in with the scope wasn't what it is today. It wasn't meant to be what it is today. And maybe I'm too optimistic and maybe I'm too young in this world right now as far as Star Citizen, right? I'm a month in here, so I can't say too much um, eh, with knowledge because I don't have the knowledge that a lot of you do. But I think from my point of view, I think it's understandable as long as for at least for new people, as long as you come in knowing that this is what it is and you look back on the history of it and you know that, right?
Yeah. You make a good point. And it's not even just about how long you've been with the project. You're saying things that are just some people don't really ever fully get. It's not
Right,
it's not one person in a company who's making these major decisions and flipping switches. It's a whole bunch of people who are working for a project that's grown and changed in size and all this stuff. And those are things that some people will follow the project for 6 years and never really wrap their head around. So I think that's good to know. Like it's
right.
cool and completely fine to have frustrations in the project and not be
Yeah,
happy about
absolutely.
things. Yeah. But it's not in a vacuum.
Yeah, it's not so black and white, I don't think. I don't think a lot of people look at it from, the developer's perspective. And I think not to say that they can do no right or wrong, like they can do no wrong. Everyone can. I think it's just to say that, you create something like this is your baby, right? Like to them, this is their baby and they want to take care of it and cherish it. But at the same time, it's hard to find the proper amount of scope while also catering to your community. Um, and I think a lot of game developers also struggle with that. Like you look at Call of Duty, like they get a lot of slack for not listening to their community, right? Like a lot of game developers do, and I think ultimately you should listen to your community, absolutely. And I think any time you don't, you're reasonably going to get a lot of flack for that. But at the same time, it's not so black and white.
Yeah. Definitely not. Let's talk. We talked about first experiences and what what was the most interesting parts of getting started, but what have been the best parts of Star Citizen so far in your first month of playing?
Just the I would say mostly at first would be just the visual appeal to it, like in the atmosphere. I think they do a really, really good job at creating um, worlds that feel so alive. Like I got lost in Lorville for an hour and I enjoyed every freaking moment of it. You know what I mean? Like seriously, I didn't realize the signs and at this point like I just realized after the fact that the signs tell you exactly where you were going and where you're
Yeah,
supposed to go.
yeah,
I didn't know this. But you like I found myself a lot of times just sitting in Lorville while people ran around me, not really doing anything and just feeling like I was still part of this living world and knowing that I might be standing here, but somebody's out there fighting each other in ships, having a dogfight, or somebody's doing like mining, or somebody's running holes. Right? Everyone's living in their own little bubble around this world, and I don't think the world fails to make you feel that you aren't the only one here.
yeah. It's really cool when you are at like a spaceport and you see ships coming and going as they've started to ratchet up the size of these servers because we had I think 100 players up until last year. It was like max 100 to 130 players, and then they got server meshing working, and now we have 5 to 700 people. And you start to see more people coming and going from spaceports, and it feels really, really cool, like novel. Even from somebody who's been playing this game for this long, it just doesn't get old.
Yeah, it's incredible, and like like Lorville was definitely like it left the biggest impression on me. I think just it gives such a cyberpunk vibe, and it feels like it just feels so good to be there. I can't even explain it any other way. It's just so cool. Even like walking into, I wish I'd actually put this in the video. Even walking to the ship store, that was the first one I'd seen um, there, and just looking like walking in there and feeling like this is like a car dealership for ships.
Yeah.
Like that is amazing. Like that is insane. And I could actually just walk up and go inside of them, like as if it's a car dealership. I can get inside and see what it has to offer and stuff. And like it's all visually amazing as well. And I'm just like, this is incredible. And it got me so excited, man.
Oh
Got me
man,
so excited.
if you
So
think
yeah.
that's cool, they
Uh
have
oh.
that's their car dealership, right? Twice a year, they also have what you could probably call a car show, where
Really?
it's just a whole week of they rotate the cars, or actually, I don't even think they rotate them. Not cars, ships. Sorry,
That's
they
okay.
they put the ships out, and different manufacturers have a different day where you can like walk up and see all of the ships basically in the game. You can rent them for free. You can go fly them. There's announcements in the convention center so you feel like you're walking around this convention center. There's components on the ground, all this stuff. It's pretty cool. They really play it up. It's I think it does a good job.
Yeah, like that just like I can only imagine that experience and how alive it feels. Like it almost feels like you're living in a real simulation of this version of the world, right? Like it's incredible. And I think
Yeah.
one thing to get a little off topic, like one thing when I came into the game is I started to feel like what I wanted was I want to be a regular citizen in this big space world where like I'm like a regular guy in this world, and I want to go make an honest man's living until I can like figure out how to get out of where I am and move beyond the stars, right? And I think that was my initial kind of goal, and I think I've moved past that now that I have millions, tens of millions of dollars. I've moved past that, and I've gone on to bigger and better things, you know.
Moved
But
up in the world,
but
yeah.
yeah, I moved up in the world really quick. It's like I won the lottery, but yeah, it's been really cool for me personally, and I think it's left a pretty good impression on me. And maybe the comments are right. Maybe this is paid for. I've seen some comment. I've seen some comments. This is a paid ad.
Bro, people will probably call this podcast episode paid for.
That's
I
what I'm thinking. But
everybody, every single person I think I've seen cover this game. At some point, people have said they're paid to cover it, which like, yeah, by ad revenue.
well, to be fair, before I uploaded that video, I didn't have monetization available. I was I didn't hit the threshold yet, so um, so that's not even plausible.
Yeah. Well, there you go now. Now you
Yeah.
can't be trusted, unfortunately.
Yeah, now I can't be trusted.
Um, yeah, I think the CEO of the company is gonna love what you just said about wanting to be the average citizen off doing your own thing, just in a world that I'm pretty sure that's exactly how he described the game. Because Squadron 42 is supposed to be the whole military hero story. This is supposed to be basically you finding your way out there in life, and I fully think that's why a lot of people really love this game.
Yeah, well, I not that they're very comparable games, but what's really cool and the similarities you can see in it, if you've ever, I do play a lot of GTA, and I have in my lifetime. And if you've ever played the role play servers, the 5M,
Mhm,
it kind of really reminds me of that. Like they get really serious about it, about like you have to. When you start off, you have nothing. You're just a citizen in Los Santos, and you start off and you have to do trucking jobs or pizza deliveries or whatever to try and like figure out to make enough money to like live. And then over time you start to meet people and start to get experiences, and then you can decide like, well, maybe I want to continue being a civilian, or maybe I want to go um, be a criminal and rob places and learn how to rob a bank or sell drugs or whatever in the game, right? Like,
mhm.
and there's all these things, and it's like um, you live this version of life where you in the game where you start off as a regular old person and you kind of decide your fate as a real person. And I think there's a lot of similarities in that and what I felt coming into this game. Obviously it's vastly different, but it's almost like the same concept in a different environment.
Yeah. It's this is gonna seem like a brash comparison probably to a lot of people, but it does feel like to take from the games you're talking about, a combination of that RP style and GTA and the kinda figure out your own story of DayZ. Not to say that it's as chaotic, but it's sort of
Right.
framed that way.
Right. So I think that's kind of where I found my joy here. And especially to add on to it, like when it looks so good, it's also like you have everything
Yeah.
you love on top of
Yeah.
great visuals. How do you push away?
Yeah, dude. It's really hard if you are a sci-fi, like, space nerd kind of person. I feel like it's really hard to not be interested in this in some way, unless you just wanna wait
Yeah.
for it to be completed.
Right. Well, even
Lorville?
like as like an non like super sci-fi nerd, I love this already. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
It's got a lot to love.
here I am overhyping it. I promise I'm not paid. I promise. Like
Yeah,
I don't
people
even think they've commented on my video yet. Okay.
a lot of folks are going to talk about the honeymoon phase, and
Yeah,
obviously, there's always a honeymoon phase with games, but I think that I think there's, like, there's I don't wanna put words to it. Everybody gets it, you have a honeymoon phase, you can like a game, but eventually you settle into a groove. It doesn't mean that the things that you appreciate about it are gone. It's just it
definitely.
expresses itself differently.
Absolutely. I agree with that completely.
So, besides the cyberpunk aesthetic, what was it that you liked about Lorville? Because that's a funny city to like.
That's really like I just felt it so alive and so big. I don't like so I'll tell you this. I don't like Area 18. That's the floating one, the floating city?
No,
I
that's,
don't like that one.
Orison.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that one is not necessarily that I don't like it. I think it's visually appealing. I just prefer like more ground like ones, um but I think yeah, all the neon to it and all like it was a little rundown neon like area, which I think was really for me at least very immersive. And I think also the experience I had there was probably is creating a little bit of a bias here,
Mhm.
because I did get lost there for an hour, and I went train to train to train trying to figure out how to get back, and I couldn't figure it out. I just could not figure it out. But like I wasn't mad about it, because every time I turned a corner, like there was just a whether it was for the most part it was visual, but I went to like some museum. Like there's a museum there.
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah,
tell
yeah.
me about that. Like I walked in and I see these big set of stairs, and I'm like, where am I? Like this is
Dude.
not this is not the Lorville I was just at, is it? And like, there's all these cool little things, and I didn't find anything particularly useful there for me, but it was more so like it allowed me to take it all kind of in at a slow pace, and I didn't feel rushed at all. I just felt like this is just really cool and neat, something that I don't feel like I've ever really experienced before in a game. All at the same time, like there was people running around me who were actually on some sort of mission in their own world, like behind their screen, but in their own world, they're all trying to get to their own place at the same time. So I
Yeah.
think it was just, and it was also one of the busiest places I think I've been to at that time. Like so far out of everywhere I've been, I've definitely seen a lot of people there more than others,
Hmm.
kind of grouped in, especially over by the ship store and the main entrance there. So I think it was just a really cool first experience as far as what I'd experienced, and so maybe I have a little bit of a bias there.
It's a nice it's a nice spot. When I say it's weird to like, it's not for any reason gameplay related. It's the kind of stuff that you were getting to with the museum. There's a ton of lore in this game. And the people who own that city are like pretty bad people. Are you into
Okay.
lore when it comes to games? Do you
I
like getting into that stuff?
I'll dig into it once I'm a little more familiar. I won't dig into it right away because I feel like, especially with a game like this, I'm already so lost. I mean, I'm a month
Yeah.
in. I'm still so lost. I'm following people around where it's like the last week who have played the game, and I'm like, what are we doing? Like, I'm happy to be here. I am, and I'm glad we're like doing all these cool things, but like, what am I doing? Like, what's our main objective here? I don't know, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Um,
a common question. We're still working on that.
Yeah, so I feel very lost a lot of the time, which I don't say in a bad way at all. I feel like it's good to be lost when you're new because I feel like that brings in a lot of mystery to the game, which just automatically makes you really intrigued. Um, what was the question?
No, I was just I don't
Oh,
know.
the lore, right.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
don't think I'm ready to dive into the lore yet. But yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I think once I dive into it more, I'll kind of have more of an opinion there.
Well, the city you picked is really central to the whole star system. It's got like all the shops you need. And it's got the ground, like you said, it actually does matter that Crusader doesn't have any ground because you could just take a vehicle and go drive around. So you picked a good spot, but they like dump sewage on their citizens. Just so you know, they're a
That's
little,
Lorville?
yeah.
Well, my home planet or place is New Babbage.
Ah, okay.
Right. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know much about New Babbage. What I did find really cool though recently was there's a place there and it's just really green. It's not snowy. It's
Hmm.
really green and it had a cool lake. And I thought that was really interesting and cool.
Dude, I got to take you around in the game, man.
You do.
some
You absolutely do. I haven't
There's
even
some good
seen my
spaces
first
to see.
sunset on the ground yet.
What
So
what kind of let's see. What kind of large, you said that you were going and jumping around with people to do stuff in the game. What sort of large activities have you done so far?
so I don't want to spoil too much.
Yeah, yeah, you don't have to spoil it.
But there's there was the I don't even know what this activity is called, where you have to go collect the cards around like checkmate and obituary and
Okay.
whatever
Contested
um
zones, basically.
the so to do that so that you can go get those ships over
Hmm.
at or um I don't know what they're called, where you need 7 of the cards or whatever so that you can get a ship or
Yeah, 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 yeah. The
so
executive hangers.
yes, the executive hangar. So I took a little trip around that with quite a few people, which has been cool. I've delved into some PvP, which I know can be some people like it, some people don't, type of thing. But I've delved into it. It's a good thing to experience, and I think I found some fun in it. To be quite honest, um, and even some people showing me some ships, which I think is really cool. Because I thought because I purchased once I got the money the constellation, or I think the RSI constellation. Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
yeah.
So I bought that, and I thought that was big. I thought that was a big ship. And then the 890 came out with somebody. And I was like, "That's a big
They
ship."
just
And
jumped
then
to the
somebody pulled
biggest
out the
ship.
Idris and too, and I'm like, "These are big ships." And I
Yeah.
get inside, and I'm like, "I can't even find my way, like, anywhere."
I still get lost in the Idris. Holy crap.
Massive,
Yeah.
massive, and,
And those are
I
not the biggest ships.
really?
No. There's another one called the Javelin, which you'll see it in game. Like you'll see it in game during Invictus Week in May, but it's not available to players yet. And
Okay.
then there's another one that they're talking about that we don't really know that much about. They're calling it a battle cruiser. And I guess it's supposed to be the biggest player ownable game or ship in the game. And they're going to sell the concept for it later this year, which is,
Gotcha.
that's a conversation.
The one ship that I'd recently seen that's coming out is the Galaxy. I just came across that
Mhm.
on a Reddit forum, and I think that one looks really neat. Definitely something worth grinding for as someone who likes just the look of it. Honestly, I think that's how I pick my ships most of all is what it looks like.
That's how
Um,
you do it.
yeah. So I know a lot of people will be like, "This ship's better for this and that," and I'm like, "Does it look cool?"
Yeah, we people are very obsessed with stats, but I agree with you. It's the vibes, dude. It's like your
Yeah.
sign.
It's like my sign, good vibes.
Yeah,
Good
dude.
vibes is all that
It's.
matters.
I mean, that's why you're playing the game. What's your favorite ship so far?
That's a tough one to say. I like the 3 is it the 315 or 325p? It's one of
Hmm. The
something like that.
315p.
I like that. I hate the ladder, by the way. The ladder really upsets me. I wish it was just like stairs that came down because the
I hate
ladder
it.
just
Yeah.
wants to grab me on it every time I come near it. Um But other than that, I just like that it's, like, small, compact, that it has a kitchen, a bed, like, it's very homey and roomy in there. It's got, like, good speed to it, seems to be. It's very small, compact, and it's just, like, it's simplistic, and I like simplistic, but also has, like, your necessities. The one thing I think it was missing is, cargo. I think if it had some extra cargo space, then it
Dude.
would definitely be a thoughtful ship for me.
The cargo. How was it doing the cargo with the Mustang with that little thing underneath?
Awful because I had to take 2 trips. But,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
was scared, I was terrified because I was like, "What if the game crashes? What if, like, something like that's out of my control could happen?" And I don't think I would have been mad about it knowing what that I knew there was problems to be had here, so I
Yeah.
don't think I'd be upset about it, but it was more so like, "Oh, like, please work, please work." I was super hopeful that, like, this was gonna work out.
The God, those things scare me loading boxes into those. It's like they're, I think the 300 series is the same way, right?
The one that I was in, I don't even know if it had cargo.
Man, I don't remember what that was the first ship I ever bought it, and I don't really remember how it works now. But yeah, that was I hate that when they drop the cargo thing down and you have to hope that it's gonna work. It by the
Eh
way, the cargo missions, if you do fail it halfway through, or like if something happens and you die, you can still get partial credit. So they won't
okay,
fail
I
you on the
didn't
whole thing.
Okay, I didn't realize that. Yeah, it was yeah, the whole thing coming down, I didn't have problems with it coming down. I did originally think though that like maybe I can fill that little box up and then I can put one on top and close it. I tried doing
Oh
that. The box just
god.
popped out. It didn't work as planned there. um, but it made for a really cool cinematic shot. So
And
there
at
we
least it
go.
didn't blow your ship up.
Yeah, it didn't my ship didn't blow up. I'd so based on what I'd read on Reddit too, obviously every patch is supposed to make everything better. I've heard with some patches things get better, some get worse type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You fix one thing, it breaks another. Um, but from what I've heard is that I've really, and based on even you saying it as well, is like I've really gotten in at a pretty good time to come in. I think my first few weeks, especially, things ran really smooth from what I'd expected, even like really smooth. And I'd even, before I'd even uploaded the video, I made a post on Reddit, like, here's my first experience in the game, because I thought it was just really cool. And by the way, I like never post on Reddit, like, and I just thought this was really cool, like, experience to share. So I posted on Reddit, and some people were like, "It seems like you had like a really like good fortunate experience, and I didn't really take that in until I started playing with people recently. And the more people you play with, the worse it gets. It's the first time I flew through an elevator, so
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah. There are two kinds of newcomer stories on Reddit. The ones that people are like, ooh, you should maybe come back not on a free fly week or something like that. And the other ones, people are like, wow, you got lucky.
Well, I was really surprised at how, I mean, I can't speak for everyone. I heard some people didn't really have a good time with this free fly, but during the free fly, I also didn't know free fly was a thing, so I bought it like a week before free fly. But no complaints. Like again, I don't feel like I've had a good time. So there we go. But yeah, my free fly experience was actually really smooth throughout it because I was
Okay.
playing a lot with my friend had just come on for a free fly. And it was really smooth for me. My other friend, he is the one that told me, the same one from Starfield. He was really interested in getting into this, and he thought it was a really cool game from what I was telling him about, and he'd also mentioned it to me a few times. And he's also the type of person that even a game in just early access, never mind alpha, if there's something not working, he gets really frustrated. So I told him from the start, I was like, "This, as I know you are really excited for this game, just know like this might not be your game right now." And I think that's a hard pill to swallow, but it's the truth.
That's
Like
that's so funny.
you
He
just have to know
introduced
what kind of
you, right?
yeah, he introduced me, and I had to tell him like, "Hey man, like this might not be your game, just so you know. Like at least not right now. I think you'll have a lot of fun with this, just maybe not where it is right now." So he downloaded it for free fly, and he had a lot of crashes, a very very bad first time playing, which is like something that I did not experience playing whatsoever. Like I had my FPS was mostly good. I've had a pretty overall
Nice, dude.
non-buggy experience. So I also think I don't know if it's a PC spec type of thing or what, but everyone's experience seems to be a little different as far as how it's gonna run.
Yeah. Yeah. It can depend on PC. Are you on a hard drive? How much RAM do you have? Are you using DLSS? Are the servers
Right.
okay that day? There's so many things. Yeah.
Right.
It's
So it's
inconsistent.
it's such a and it seems to be a pretty huge difference on working and not working in the in between. So
Hmm.
yeah.
All right. I want to ask you about something you've been mentioning you liked about this. The walking around, the riding the train. The riding the train was a big one for you, right? That like really captured you.
Yeah.
What do you It's the immersion, right? A lot of it's a bit of a joke in the community because it's been said so many times, but it's not a really a joke because it actually is useful for the game. But do you think it's going to get old at some point, finding your way onto the train and then going to your hangar and doing all this different stuff?
I think it can't get older than any other game does to you, right? Like everyone has their game, I think, or not most people have their game, and like, do you still play that game after 2 or 3 years or 5 years or whatever, right? And if so,
Mhm.
like, do you still find your joy in it, and why, right? Like, and I think that has its own thing to be said here. It's like if you really really enjoy this, I I can't speak for what it's going to look like in a few years, but I think just related to any other game that you might be really interested in, um, and then also the fact that there is a lot of development to go on here, and just be hopeful that it comes to fruition, and it's not like it's going to get stale because there's so much still being added. Like for example, like my first patch coming into this game is going to be crafting, and it's hopefully a new inventory system, and you know what I mean. Like that's a pretty big thing to come into. And
Yeah.
from what I'm hearing from talking to people is like even from last year to this year, like the amount of stuff that's been added is incredible. So I think, and then is it with this upcoming patch? I could be wrong here with the new mission in Nyx.
Yeah. Yeah. There's going to be some new space stations and they call them rock cracker stations in Nyx.
Right. So like even that's my first patch coming in, right? And like it's gonna be like fairly soon. So I mean, like there's a lot of stuff to come, and I think that that's gonna definitely bring in a lot of new things and experiences that is going to make you go wow and like be awing and stuff. So I think like I've never gone bored of DayZ. I've never gone bored of looking at a sunset in DayZ, and I've been playing that since 2014 or 15 or whatever. So I think like I enjoy the sunsets there. I enjoy walking in the dead forest when nobody's around or having a campfire in the middle of the forest. So I think that still impresses me. Why won't this?
You still see it as part of the game rather
Yeah,
than
I still.
something you have to do.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's what a game like this offers too is like once you realize you don't need to be in a rush, like there's so much to take in and it doesn't matter how long you've been playing. If you really truly like what is around you, then I think like you and I think that's something that I've seen some comments of people being like, you've reminded me to just like slow down and look around in the game. And I think that's really cool to see as someone who just like made a video on their first experience. It's really cool. But it also like comes back to me to like I have to make sure that I am conscious enough while playing to be like I don't need to be in a rush to get this done. Sometimes it's nice to take a detour to go land on a planet and just watch the sun. You know what I mean? Like you can do that, and that's completely up to you. You just have to understand that you can, and you don't have to be on a mission all the time.
You sound like my poor shift key, always telling me to stop sprinting and boosting everywhere. You don't have to be in
Stop
a rush,
sprinting,
dude.
start walking, man. You know how many times I scrolled down so I could walk slower and just enjoy the view? I mean,
It is
it was my
nice.
first experience, right? But like at the same time, like, do you ever get bored of that? I don't know. I hope not.
I'm amazed at how many times I still just I'm kind of just like wow when I'm looking at something in this game, like a sunset or something. It's pretty crazy.
Right. And then I think I don't know, I haven't watched the content yet on what the like the base building and stuff like that is going to look like, but I can only imagine like how much that alone will add. Like imagine you're just on a planet, you have a little farm going if that's in the plans or whatever, and you have like a place that you built and that's your home and you get to experience the sunset at your home and your friend can come by and you guys
Yeah.
can land your ships nearby. Like it's dangerously immersive. It's
Dude,
dangerous.
it's crazy. They're bringing out a new version of their Planet Tech this year, and oh my god,
It's dangerous, man.
dude,
Like this is
it's
the stuff that
so
keeps you home
much.
from work.
Yeah, it is. It's they're the Planet Tech is getting so detailed that the things that spawn in an area will depend on the soil type and the other plants that are there pushing it out. And
Like
so,
that's incredible.
yeah. And so the animals will spawn based on what plants are there, which spawn based on humidity, temperature, sunlight, all that. And then you're absolutely right what you said. We're going to be able to basically make farms, and you can put animals inside the farm, harvest their whatever, and then craft stuff from it, all on a planet where people are coming to you because you know how to make the best of whatever thing you have to craft from. It's crazy.
Like that's so cool to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's so interesting. It's like you're creating this like real world that doesn't have to cost you real money. Like you can go in there, create your own economy and create this. Somebody joined my Discord. He'd actually done a podcast with you on his channel, and I'd gone through that or whatever because he'd mentioned it to me, and I'd gone through that a little bit. And he was talking about how he does like his arms dealing stuff,
Oh, yeah.
or whatever. And
Gallagher.
I thought like that is so neat that like he essentially created a business in Star Citizen. You know what I mean? And like he treated it the same way too. Like I have to build my reputation so people come do these deals with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have referrals and I have like people who leave positive reviews. And like he built a real business. I mean, not like a business in the game
Yeah.
that people don't want to lose stuff too. So in real life, they are like a little skeptical about it and stuff too. Like it causes real emotion in your life to go and do this stuff too. And I think that's just really cool. Is like you can scale that in the game. And I love games that allow you to just have the freedom to do things like this.
Yeah. You ever played an MMO?
Uh, define M like define MMO.
Well,
Like, do you
because of
because you could consider like a Daisy or something like that like massively multiplayer, but it
yeah,
also
yeah, kind of.
could not be considered an MMO at the same time.
Well, I ask because a lot of the things we're talking about are kind of the hallmarks of MMOs. And I know that I'm personally somebody who didn't really like, I had a couple hours in RuneScape, maybe. I tried EVE Online at one point. I played like here and there. I would try it, but I never got deep into it. And it took me getting into a lot more of this, especially lately over the last year or so, to realize this is what MMOs are really about. And so I was just asking because I wondered if this was something that you had maybe experienced before, but it wasn't as good as this, or if you just never seen a game like this.
No, there's as far as like MMOs like that, like no, I haven't really taken a dive into any of those. I think like when I was really young, like I kind of tried to get into World of Warcraft because my uncle played it,
Okay.
and I played it for a little bit when I was really young, but I didn't really understand what I was doing, and I hadn't really gone back since. It was a very short lived experience, but no, not really. But I think with this game, it's more of like I've enjoyed the multiplayer aspect of it in the last week that I've had the chance to kind of dive into that. I think though that personally as a new player at least until I get more familiar with it, I think I've enjoyed it more as like a single player thing experience so far.
Hmm.
Like I like knowing that there's people around and it makes it feel more lively and knowing, but I think overall and like I love the interaction based potential, but I think that going around in like a Discord with a bunch of people is a different experience and not a bad one per se. Like I've enjoyed it equally. I think it's a whole different experience. I don't feel like I get to slow down as much and learn by myself. I feel more like I'm being guided, or I feel like yeah, more like I'm being guided than taught, if that makes sense. Like I'm following someone around doing something. For example, the last week I got to experience these hangers, and I still don't quite know what I'm doing with that yet because I didn't
Right.
go in firsthand. I just followed somebody while they did, like, they showed me everything, right? So I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of the experience, I don't think I'm treating this like an MMO properly right now. I think
No,
I'm
dude.
treating this more like a single player experience, almost,
I
if that
think
makes sense.
I think that is. I don't think there's a right way. I think that's actually how a lot of people want to do it. Is in my I am actually kind of like that too. I love my org. I love my folks. I love it's good fun doing group gameplay, but I love the idea of playing solo, going out adventuring, finding some cool stuff, and then you know that there are other people to go and like trade with and stuff afterward.
Right, right. So yeah, I guess what I think would be a game changer for someone like me though is the VoIP. Like that would
Yeah.
be such a because I could play with 10 people if we could, decide when to talk in game to each other, and it was proximity based, and I didn't have to hear someone in my ear 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah. VoIP. Oh my gosh. It's such
It
no
almost
kidding, dude.
I think it goes for I think this is the difference. I think the difference is when it's VoIP, when it's like proximity chat, I think it's more of an experience. Like your people are talking based on like living the events in game and they're communicating based on that. When you're in a Discord, it's more of like a casual, like, hey, me and my friends are having a good hangout, right?
Yeah.
And like you'll make your outside jokes of the game or whatever, and like you'll laugh and stuff like that and have a good conversation, which is a very like I'm not saying anything against that. I think that's a very good time. I think though that like sometimes I just want to talk to people in game as if we're in game, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's I have been a big proponent for like let's get some real voice communication in the game. And I always get these pushback and people are like just use Discord. It's fine. I'm like how is that? That doesn't you can't just meet someone in a game and be like, "Hey, they're not on Discord."
Right. Right. So
So
it's
I'm
that's
yeah.
it's very different. Has it ever worked though in game?
Yeah, and it does now. It's
Oh, I
just
guess you
really
said
iffy.
now that the
It's
servers are bigger.
yeah, and it does work. It's just like you don't know if it's working or not. Sometimes it might be working, but the volume's really low and you don't know how to turn it up. It's kind of like the other things you were talking about where you can sort of put piece together what's supposed to happen, but the game isn't quite finishing that last 10% of like intuitivity in
Gotcha.
intuit whatever. I want to ask you about piracy. Have you experienced
Okay.
any in the game yet?
Not yet. but it is something that does interest me in a lot of ways.
Oh.
I think that
Oh, he wants other
there's
people to experience it.
I think that there's a lot of interesting ways that it could come to play,
Hmm.
and I think that it could be really entertaining for I think it could also be very entertaining potential for someone who hasn't seen the game, right? Like, as far as entertainment goes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think, and presenting it to somebody, um, I think it intrigues me as, like, it brings in you could do it, but there's a threat if you choose to do it, right? And it's, like, interesting to me. It's really interesting.
Yeah, they really need to work on those threats for doing it. But yeah, you took that as like I wanna try some piracy, which, is a
Yeah.
good time. Honestly, I like doing it to NPCs more than players because who knows what's going on with players, but it can be a little fun. Who am I to judge? Um,
I think I wanna experience everything. I feel like who doesn't wanna be a try the criminal life in Star Citizen?
yeah,
Maybe not everybody, but
yeah. But you haven't experienced any sort of people giving you trouble.
nope, not yet. No.
You've been playing for like a
No.
month?
Yeah, about a month. I could be very wrong here though, because there's been a few times where I've just miraculously blown up. Whether that was somebody who shot me pretty hard or not, I'm not sure.
That's usually the game, shooting you pretty hard. Yeah, no, I ask because a lot of people believe there tends to get to be this reputation that PvP is just happening all the time and it's not safe to play the game and you can't go and play Star Citizen solo because you'll get blown up as soon as you fly away and eh,
Not the case. In my experience, I can't speak for everyone, but not the case for me whatsoever. And um, I've gone a little bit into Pyro alone. Now, most of my experience right now in Pyro has been with other people, but I've gone alone. Stanton, I haven't had a problem with it whatsoever. So I don't think that's the case.
yeah, I don't either. But it can happen. You can get into trouble. So you haven't been to Hathor yet, right?
What's Hathor?
Cool. You haven't been to ASD yet. No? Okay, guys. Oof. Go subscribe to the channel. There's gonna be some fun videos to watch over the next couple months.
No. Oh gosh.
So at the end of your video, you said that you get it now. You
Mhm.
I'm sure a lot of people were very happy to hear that. You want to explain kind of what you meant by it though?
I think it kind of goes into a lot of what we've talked about today, which is like it just draws you in, whether it be from the visual aspect or the way that you can be hooked on just getting something as simple as a piece of armor that's in the store from the beginning, or renting a ship that, like a cargo ship, whatever it is. I think there's just a lot of ways that this game can really hook you, and it really shows you that there is so much potential here. And I think that's a dangerous slippery slope, by the way. I think when you start looking to potential, you might create expectations that you don't get met with. So just be very careful with that, is what my opinion would be. Um, but I understand why there's so many people who are really hooked on this and have really put a lot of time and dedication and even money towards, because like there is something here that feels really, really alive and ambitious that I personally don't think you can get anywhere else at the moment. At the moment, there's nothing quite like what you experience in this game. And like, I feel like I sound like I'm really rooting for this, and I'm not really but like, no, seriously, there's
They're gonna
bads and
say
there's
you're in the
goods.
cult, dude.
They are gonna say I'm in the cult, and I understand that, but seriously, I was mind blown right away. And I think if you come in with an optimistic look on it, then you're probably going to be treated the same way as I was, which is you're not going to be able to look back. At least, yeah, it's the first month. So maybe I'm
We'll bring
still in
him back
awe.
on in a few months and have the follow up, and we'll see exactly how
Yeah.
things go. Um, what would you say to people who are in the same boat you were a month or two ago, or kind of on the fence, maybe been looking at it and don't want to jump in because of the jank? but are also interested.
One, there's a 30-day refund, so I mean, there's not much damage you can do there. Two, get the base package to start off with if you're skeptical about it. Um, I think three, and like nobody's hiding anything, and that's I can't stress that enough. Like nobody's hiding what is there right now. It's very transparent. It took me 10 minutes to realize what's going on here, like as far as development and how long it might take, and the fact that there's issues. Like I don't think anyone tried to hide that, so it's very apparent there. I think also if you're going to come into this, I think it's good to be hopeful for the future, absolutely. But I can't stress enough if you come in with the idea that it's not where you want it to be right now, but it will be, like you're going to cause some expectations that might disappoint you. You know what I mean? Because your version of what this game should be is different than what mine is, and mine is different than his and hers, and so on. So, and there's only going to be one real version of it. So I think just have expectations and hope and be hopeful, but don't go spending your money and then not take responsibility when it doesn't end up like that. Right? Is kind of I think just take responsibility for knowing what you're getting into, and then I think you'll have a really optimistic, good experience. Also, like my friend, if you're the type of person that doesn't like bugs and it really upsets you, this isn't your game.
Nope.
This is not your game
A lot of
at the
bugs.
moment, right now. It's
Yeah.
not your game. So that's really all I can really say. There is also just come in with a high, your head high. If you do choose to pull the trigger, just realize that the tutorial in the beginning is not what you're going to experience the whole time, and just look for things to do because there's a lot of things to do, and a lot of people in my comments seem to argue that there's nothing there, and after I got all that money, for example, like I didn't know what to do, and all it took was a little bit of just looking into it and taking the initiative to do so to find out that there's actually way more than I even thought, and probably even that I think now to do. Um, and then there's only going to be more. So that's really all I can say there.
Solid, man. I think that was pretty good.
Heck yeah.
Thank you for joining me for this talk, dude. I think this was a phenomenal insight into somebody's first month into the game. I know I just gave you the chance to tell people what, they should be thinking of it. Um, but I also want to give you the opportunity to share, obviously, your YouTube channel where people can find you and any last thoughts that you had for the folks.
My YouTube is Acuze. It's Acuze, just like it's right there. And then there's actually one thing I really wanted to share. I was thinking about it coming on here. Is a full circle moment that I'm having.
All right.
Is when I was like 12, like back in like 2012, when we were leading up to like GTA 5 and the release of GTA 5. I was watching a YouTube channel who used to do a lot of breakdowns and stuff, and I only watched two. That was Typical Gamer and Ollie43. And
Oh,
he used to
shoot.
do breakdown videos, and I was looking so forward to GTA 5, so I'd watch all of his videos. And the video, once GTA 5 came out, I stopped watching because I was playing it, and I wasn't really watching a lot of content on it at the time, and I hadn't heard of Ollie43 since then. Not once. And I got into Star Citizen and I started searching videos like how to do this here with things about Star Citizen. Ollie 43 came up. And I thought that was really, really cool because to me, it was almost a full circle moment. And I think when I started seeing this video start doing well, I've been pretty hopeful. Like, oh, how full circle finishing would it be if he comments on this? So, Ollie, if you're watching, please go comment on my video and make this full circle reality. And
Comments on it, dude. You'll get to meet him. You guys a good time
yeah,
to chat.
there we go. So I think I think that's really cool to see how long has that been? That's been over a decade
Oh,
ago,
man.
right? And
Yeah,
how life just happens is such a cool thing to me. And I
that
wanted to
is
share
awesome,
that. I
dude.
thought that was really cool.
No, that is really cool. Ollie's such a freaking veteran. Dude, holy
Yeah, dude.
crap.
He's been here a long, long time.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
long
But
time.
he's, he does a lot of good gameplay. Something that you'll see is that we started this podcast talking about the community. And if there's one thing that made this project work the whole way through, it's the community from people making videos. Oftentimes you talk about a content creator, people think about videos and streams. But this game has amazing virtual photographers, which I think is actual marketing for a game. some really, really good web designers, coders, people making tools, websites, all kinds of things to help people get things done that CIG hadn't. People building communities for different demographics and folks that are coming to the game. And like, you don't really realize how much success comes to a project when it has a community that's doing all these things that keep people involved. But man, it's definitely been the best part. So from Ollie to myself to any other YouTubers to yourself, welcome to the community, dude. Gonna be a good time,
man. Thank you, and I appreciate you extending your invitation to me. And like this community has really shown me a warm welcome, and I expect they do that for everybody. So really, thank you.
Hope you enjoy it, dude. Thanks again for joining me for the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope you got some good information from this, some solid entertainment, maybe a couple laughs, a tear or two here. We're very heartfelt people. And I will see you all next week in the next show. We're going to have a good talk about 4.7 and mining and all that jazz. So until then, enjoy yourselves. See you in the next one.